Here
That's
in my
amazing.
local market, again, Palm Springs, Greater Coachella Valley, we have 9 cities here in the valley. I've heard different numbers. The average or the number of cash buyers ranges from 50 to 65%.
Wow.
And and of course, as a mortgage originator, I don't like to hear that, right? I mean, does that mean that 2/3 of the transactions in my local market, I'm not even going to have an opportunity to help the buyer because they don't need me. They don't need a loan, or they don't
Mm,
want a loan, and they've got the cash in their pocket to just write a check to buy the home. And what's remarkable about that is a huge change in the buyer profile, the demographic, the way people have bought homes historically. That number is a very, very high number now. And so you start thinking, well, why is that happening? Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the increases in home values, particularly how much they increased during the pandemic. And so what's happening is, and I've heard this locally here in our market, you've got a lot more situations where people have so much equity, they're able to sell their home, and maybe they have other cash too. And then when they go ahead and buy that next home, they don't need a mortgage. They just pay cash. In fact,
mm.
another data point I saw was 31% of repeat home buyers pay cash. I mean, that's a tremendous number. And
Wow.
so you start connecting the dots, and it's like, well, of course, there's been a lot of news stories about how um, homeowners have experienced so much increase in their wealth from the growth in their equity due to these home values just skyrocketing again, particularly since 2019 through the pandemic. And so, as a consequence, there's this wealth generation that's really at historical levels. Of course, I've seen news articles that kind of whine about the fact that all the baby boomers have gotten rich because they own all the homes, and they all have a 2% mortgage and their equity has exploded. And and a lot of those people are the ones who are selling their home and buying another and paying cash. That's part of that 31% repeat buyer number. But I know here in the Coachella Valley, for example, I've heard many people, agents and so forth, will talk about, our property values here are still relatively, low compared to other major metropolitan areas, LA County, Orange County, San Diego, San Francisco area, and so forth, Pacific Northwest. And you hear stories all the time about, somebody sold their home in, San Francisco for, $4 million, and they decide they're moving to Palm Springs, and they'll put $2 million, and they net $4 million on their sale, and they put $2 million in their pocket, and they spend $2 million to buy a home cash. So that is a phenomenon in all the years I've been in this business that I've just never seen it at these levels before. So it's just remarkable how much cash is floating around out there.